Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Askew, and today I'll be talking to you about the value of teaching maths through problem solving. So, the first thing you may ask yourself is, what is problem solving? Problem solving, in very simple terms, is finding a solution to complex or unfamiliar problems using logical reasoning. There's a very famous mathematician known as George Polya who wrote a book called How to Solve It. And in his book, he explains the 4 steps that is widely used in teaching for problem solving. So, step 1 is understanding the problem. Break it down. Understand the problem, understand what the problem is asking you to do. Identify the important details. Number 2, devise a plan. How are you going to solve this problem? What steps are you going to take to solve it? Number 3, actually solve the problem. And number 4, look back and reflect. Now, the values and goals of teaching with problem solving. There are many values. It allows critical thinking, creativity, engagement, collaboration, resilience. There are so many values of it, as well as it prepares them for the real world. Now, the goals of teaching with problem solving is the application of knowledge. Our goal is to hope that the learners apply their knowledge, and it is to build a deeper understanding of the concepts. This helps them develop problem solving skills. Now, how and when to develop problem solving skills in a lesson? When you're introducing a new concept, such as addition, use very simple problem solving tasks, such as guide them through it. Lisa has 1 apple, Jane has 1 apple. Do it with them, show them how 1 apple and 1 apple make 2 apples. Do guided practice with them. Then the next thing is let them do it by themselves. Let them take the knowledge you've given them and apply it to their own work, and allow them to check on each other. Check, did you get the same answer? Mark each other's work. It allows them to reflect on their knowledge. Now, when developing problem solving skills, it is important to model it. Show them step by step. Use real life scenarios. Frame it such as shopping or going to the tuck shop. Allow students to use different methods, as well as using open-ended questions. Open-ended questions allow for the learners to think of multiple solutions, which also stimulates more thinking, Now, this also encourages self-exploration. You can also use scaffolding, incorporate technology, create a safe learning space where the learners feel like they can come up with their own solutions and present it to you, and connect their prior knowledge to what they're learning now. Now, there are types and features of good and bad maths problems. Now, I'm just going to skip ahead to the features before we go back. A good maths problem is clear, relevant, appropriate, engaging, and that's it. Those are the only 4 things it needs to be. It needs to be clear for the learners to understand, needs to be relevant in their life, needs to be appropriate for their grade, and needs to encourage them to explore the different ways of finding answers. Now, the features of a bad maths problem. It is too ambiguous, using big words, using problems that are too confusing and hard. Next thing is irrelevance. If it is not relevant in the students' lives, it can make it boring for them. If it is overly complex, it can discourage the learners. They may think, oh, it's too much for me to think about. That's enough. Now, here are some examples of good and bad problems. So for good word problems, for a grade 1 learner, Lily has 4 balloons and she gets 2 more. How many does she have? That is clear and relatable. Now, an example of a bad word problem is, if x plus 2 is equal to 5, what is x? That's too abstract. They're not going to understand what x is. The appropriate resources for solving maths problems. Use manipulative counting blocks, cubes, beads, hands-on objects, visual aids, charts, posters, diagrams, videos, worksheets, maths games, name it all, and you can use it, as well as using story problems. The way learners learn is through relating it to their own life. So making sure it's interactive and relevant to their life, they'll be engaged. The next thing is the role of teachers and learners. The role of teachers is very important. They need to make sure that they are facilitating the learning, that they have molded the learning to their learners, to their learners' appropriate structure. So they can create problem-solving opportunities. They can encourage critical thinking. They can support collaboration. Let them do it in pairs or in groups. The teachers can also assess the understanding. This helps them to, scaffold learning, break down the problems step by step, and show the learners where they need to go, guide them that way. Eventually, you'll wean off of the help and they'll be able to do it by themselves. Now, the role of learners in problem solving is to be engaged. They are critically thinking. They are using collaboration. They are persevering and they are reflecting on all of the things that you've asked them to do, as long as the material is engaging and clear. Now, the next thing is, what is a good task to give them for problem solving? What is a relevant, worthwhile task? A worthwhile task in mathematics, specifically using problem solving, refers to an engaging and meaningful problem/activity that challenges learners to apply their knowledge. These tasks are characterized by their relevance to students' lives, encouraging them to connect with mathematical concepts in everyday. They provide an appropriate level of difficulty, promoting critical thinking and exploration of multiple strategies for difficulty. So I've basically summed that all up into 3 bullet points on my slide there for you: real world relevance, multiple approaches, and critical thinking. Those are what your tasks need to be. Now, the next thing is, what are problem solving strategies? Problem solving strategies can be many things, but I've listed 6. Check and guess. Maybe they know just off the top of their head and they know mental math. Second thing is draw a picture, make it relevant. Review the answers, work backwards, break it down, look for a pattern. Do it with them step by step. Teach them how to use those strategies. Here are some examples. You ask the learner, how many apples are in the basket? They guess 5. They go and count the apples. Oops, I've overcounted. Let me lower my answer or let me hide my answer. Draw a picture, count the apples, use objects, act it out. There are many problem-solving strategies. The next thing is, why is problem solving useful in maths? It not only enhances critical thinking, but it encourages learners to think beyond just the problem. The next thing is, it builds understanding. It helps them to apply it to various different factors in their life. It promotes independent learning. It prepares them for the real world. It encourages flexibility. Now, how is it useful? It enhances conceptual understanding, improves analytical skills, encourages creative thinking, and develops logical thinking, which we all know you need in life. I've attached some literature from Polya talking about his 4 steps of problem solving, just so you can go on your own and research them by yourself. The next thing is, what is the importance of having those discussions in class and allowing the questioning? By allowing the learners to question you and ask those questions in class, it allows them to be engaged. It allows them to have critical thinking. It facilitates collaboration, encourages curiosity, and provides immediate feedback. If a learner goes, Miss, can you help me with da, 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 or what is da, da, da? It is very easy for you as the teacher to go and give immediate feedback. As well as in a classroom setting, you have learners who are at various different academic levels. They are able to feel safe in that environment and ask whatever questions they need to ask. The tailored questioning can meet diverse learning needs, allowing students to engage with the material at their own level of understanding. The next thing is, how do we assess problem solving? As teachers, what can we do? We can observe. We do every day. We can use rubrics. We can use performance tasks. We can use self-assessment. We can use peer assessment. There are various different ways to assess problem solving. Thank you very much. I have attached my resources below.